Hello and welcome to Group B9's presentation on Majid Al Futtaim's digital transformation. Majid Al Futtaim, or MAF, is the largest lifestyle conglomerate in the Middle East and North Africa. It is a pioneer in shopping malls, communities, retail, and leisure, with a presence in 16 different countries. 2019, it had $9.6 billion in revenues, which was up 28.6% since 2015. The holding company consists of three main operating companies, with properties, with hotels and malls, grocery retail with Carrefour, and lifestyle ventures with cinemas and entertainment. So the impetus for MAF's digital transformation was the appointment of a new CEO, Almeida, in 2015. His main strategic objective was to integrate the three lines of business in order to be able to create and exploit the synergies among them, and consequently defining a unique value proposition based around lifestyle for MAFs and consumers. Bajani decided to lever data analytics and top talented individuals in order to facilitate the transformation process, with the ambition of becoming as prominent on the digital side as MAF was on the physical side, with using three key enablers: data, technology, and people. Related to this, the focus was on moving from a product-centered business model to a customer-centric business model. This can be justified by the various accomplishments that Bajani achieved with the company during the 4 years of transformation that he led, as he was the main architect for the company's rebranding. He was the one to come up with a defined and clear plan, using data analytics to spot customers' shopping experience, developing technology such as AI, leveraging use cases in order to tackle difficult business problems, and using analytics for competitive differentiation by defining clear digital KPIs, developing and training personnel in data analytics and data management, and hiring key experienced figures such as Joel Abiakal as head of the strategy and business development department, with the aim of designing, prioritizing, and executing the analytics transformation of the entire group. So regarding the data-driven transformation that the company went through, the process was carried in three main steps. First of all, building a digital mindset, building a data lake, and then building a digital skill set. So concerning the first one, there was first of all the establishment of the Advanced Analytics Center of Excellence, the AACOE, and the appointment of Giorgio, a data analyst expert, as head of data analytics. The goal was first and foremost to start building a data-driven culture in MAF in order to improve the decision-making and raise awareness of the omni-channel experience and create more customer value. Then came the data lake phase, which was a focus on data collection with the goal of improving performance in terms of customer experience and customer lifetime value. Finally, building a digital skill set. Here, MAF believed that in order to sustain its competitive advantage, it needed to improve the existing skills, but at the same time invest in new talent. It was crucial to acquire new capabilities in order to disrupt the current business model and to harmonize the data analytics process. So now that we've defined the three-step process, let's take a more in-depth look at what MAF wanted to achieve with this process. Here again, we can distinguish three different goals. The first goal is about improved efficiencies by using data as an asset instead of a byproduct of operations, and to have consistent information throughout the process. The second was to create distinctive capabilities. MAF employees should be able to use data to make better decisions, and MAF should be known as a company and as an employer for its emphasis on data. Finally, through better decisions, data should enhance value for customers and be beneficial for MAS profitability. For example, this can be done by analyzing customer behavior in order to give certain customer segments prioritized efforts. In order to implement this transformation, three different options were considered: a centralized model, a federated model, and a decentralized model. The types of strategy implementation models would help scale up the transformation throughout the conglomerate, as well as help allow MAF to respond to their diverse customer groups' needs. What are the differences between these approaches? The answer is simple. They are either more top-down or more bottom-up approaches. MAF actually started with a centralized model and had a goal of implementing a federal model, which is a hybrid between centralization and decentralization. A centralized model would have, as its name indicated, a centralized analytics unit that supports the business units. A benefit of this is that it's easier to align the data strategy with the overall holding strategy, since you have more of an overview of all the data initiatives implemented in the company. Additionally, since it's centrally driven, it gives full control with regards to the design and execution during the transformation. The disadvantage, however, is that it's more difficult to scale and that the distance between data and operations stays relatively large. A federated model would have an analytics department for each business unit that closely collaborates with a central COE. The business units would each execute their own data initiatives. The advantage of this approach is that it's a nice balance between process standardization and autonomy for business units. This autonomy translates into increased agility for the different units. However, at the same time, there are more coordination costs in a centralized model. Furthermore, you're more dependent on certain business units in order to reach your overall goals. For MAF, the idea was to incorporate both top-down and bottom-up dynamics with so-called ambassadors and enhancers placed across the entire organization. What MAF and the senior management tried to do was to inculcate a digital mindset and focus across the organization by using a top-down approach, but at the same time trying to pervade the organization from the bottom up with an analytics mindset, having data flow back up the organization as well as give more autonomy to the different business units. So they first started by creating central units, so the AACOE, that looked for solutions to implement. Then they tried to build a federated model. Here they appointed business partners for each OpCos in order to facilitate the exchange between the AACOE and the OpCos. Then these business partners hired data analysts and their own data team for their own OpCo in order to increase their autonomy. The OpCos also worked closely with subsidiaries in order to identify problems. Later on, the AACOE rebranded towards focusing more on change management and creating a truly data-driven organization. Product managers were appointed in order to come up with novel, rapid, and prototyping solutions for MAF that would be validated and, if successful, dispersed among the different OpCos. So, now that we've seen the advantages of data-driven transformation, we could ask ourselves, how could this apply to another company? And here we take the example of Mango. So within Mango, all business units could benefit from a data-driven approach. However, the ones that might benefit the most are business development and marketing departments. Mango is already quite digitalized and has embraced a data-driven approach. For example, we can see this with how developed their e-commerce is and how structured their digital strategy is. However, Mango operates in an industry that is traditionally product-centric and is now trying to use digital technologies to move towards a more customer-centric model. They also want to increase their brand awareness for millennials, a segment in which they are not positioned as a leader. The parts of the business that can benefit the most then from data-driven approach is parts of the business that are focused around enriching the customer experience, like marketing. Marketing and business development units can better architect and optimize their strategies and brand communications through the use of data to understand customers' motivations, preferences, and behaviors. There are different products and processes that can benefit from this data-driven approach, like, for example, a loyalty program, store layouts, product selection, customer relations, online experience, and returns. What we've discovered in our search so far is that Mango is clearly in the midst of a transition. Parts of the business are clearly data-driven, like, for example, their web shop or their email marketing, whereas other parts still do not take full advantage of the data and see data as a byproduct of operations. Our main goal, therefore, is to integrate these silos, online and offline, in order to be able to leverage a more integrated and enhanced omni-channel experience for the customers. The idea is to use analytics to optimize the existing processes regarding targeted promotions in order to make them more personalized and fit customer needs and expectations. That way, the company should be able to monetize and create value from data. The creation of an awareness at the penetration and retention process, so getting customers into our marketing funnel or building strong fidelity loops, could also benefit from this technology and from this data by, for example, exploiting artificial intelligence. As we all know, we are entering the age of experience, and these technologies coupled with quality data can help us get a better insight into what constitutes the optimal experience for our customer. This will ultimately lead to greater profits, as well as help improve brand image. This is but one example, but it gives us an idea of how digital transformation can impact an entire business area. So now, one of the use cases that can be applied to Mango is innovating and enriching the customer experience, as we said. In fact, one data gap that we identified is the lack of an after-sales process, having an impact on both digital and in-store business. Basically, this means that Mango is has a hard time assessing the actual customer experience in store without using proper marketing tools, such as, for example, focus groups. This is a basic feature of mapping the customer journey and therefore is very important. And we would thus propose to send a follow-up email to customers that are part of the fidelity program after they shopped at a Mango store in order to ask them for their in-store experience. Then we would gather their feedback and perform a sentiment analysis in order to turn this data into usable information. Here again, AI could help us automate the process. In order to check the success of the experiment, we would develop a pilot program in the largest stores in Europe and would monitor the customer experience and feedback during 3 months. There are some barriers to the strategy that we have identified. First of all, customers might not respond to the email and give feedback. Also, this might also mean that the feedback that we receive is biased, since customers that are either have a very positive or a very negative experience are the most inclined to respond, and this would impact the quality of our data. Also, in some countries, Mango can face privacy issues, which makes it impossible to implement this strategy. However, this could help Mango to better define its value proposition in order to create value, because if Mango customers realize that they are being listened to, they will feel special and part of the Mango family, and therefore this will increase their customer loyalty, driving revenues up. Additionally, the company could use this feedback to develop new ideas and further increase and enhance the customer experience. All in all, in case of success, at the pilot stage, Mango should feel confident to scale up this strategy across the company and bring it to other countries. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye.